The Gary Development Landfill was originally designed as a municipal landfill, which is a solid waste landfill. No sorts of toxins or hazardous material is allowed to be dumped into these landfills, just natural human waste. However, once illegal dumping started to occur on this site, it became a very toxic and hazardous area for many of the surrounding people and rivers, thus why the Coast Guard has closed off this area. So essentially, once a landfill is left abandoned, all of the waste, liquid waste that has been collected at the bottom of the landfill leaks out because of lack of maintenance kept on the landfill. So what happens is that this groundwater known as leachate goes into rivers and wetlands such as these and pollutes the water for nearby surrounding areas. Now, not only do you just have to drink this water to become contaminated yourself, simply being around this water is hazardous to your health.
Which is why we're standing right near it.
From these wetlands, the water discharges down to the Grand Calumet River. From there, the water goes all the way through the river and ends up in Lake Michigan, where all of the drinking water from Northwest Indiana comes.
Also, another implement of the groundwater is that it leaks into the soil surrounding. And as you can see, surrounded us, the soil looks miscolored and oddly shapen, which is a result of the contaminated groundwater leaking into it, making it hard for plants and wildlife to sustain life here. So this is also another hazardous effect.
So when Munster put down their new track a few years ago, it was made out of rubber. And when we're looking at the contaminated soil that exists around the Gary Development Landfill, let's just see how it reacts being stepped on.
Quite similarly to the track field, the soil here is rubbery. This is hardened soil. There's no plant life here. All the plants are dead in this exact area, and the soil here is discolored rubbery.
This isn't good.
And also has an odd
There's
pattern
a blue tint
surrounding
to
it.
And we are breathing around it. We're gonna die.
The soil is colored blue,
Uh-oh.
cracked, and rubbery.
Oh, let's find out. No, don't touch it.
Don't touch it. You're
I've
gonna
got
die.
steel-toed boots. We're fine.
What is that?
Look at that. That's like tar.
Is that wet?
What
So
is-
here we have a pike pole covered in dirt, sediment from this area. It looks crystallized, it's wet, and it smells like tar.
And it's got some oily, looking.
It smells and looks like hardened tar. The normal soil in this area is contaminated to that point,
Which would explain the rubbery consistency.
and the discoloredness.
So we decided that we wanted to mess around a little bit with the dirt just to kind of find out that, like, how much of this environment was really contaminated. And, well, I'm just gonna move this, and I want you to specifically watch this crack right here. That is not good. It has the consistency of a gel, and I'm pretty sure dirt doesn't normally do that.
Start recording. And the way the sediment is hardened here isn't normal. This doesn't occur naturally. Naturally, the way sediment hardens is when new sediment is deposited on top of it. This sediment is on the surface, so there is no natural reason as to why it should be hardened into a rock as it is now.
So we decided that we wanted to test some of the water and disturb it. And we did disturb some of the water. And we found that at first we thought it was air, but as time went on, something that looked like an oily consistency settled on the top, which kind of disproved the entire air theory. However, just to show you exactly what we've done, I wanted to show it for you on camera. And as you can see, there's this thin, oily sort of substance coming around, which comes from disturbing this. And as we dip it in, the oil continues to go around. And it's clearly coming from the dirt. So let's disturb it one more time.
If it was simply more wet dirt on the bottom, it would settle to the bottom.
Yeah, it wouldn't rise onto the top.
We have a film on the top here of something that isn't natural.
It looks like crude oil. And it's extremely disconcerting.
Right. And as we move further away from the wetlands back here, the smell of tar actually lessens.
Which is actually really disconcerting because we are currently, wind is blowing this way and GDL is officially that way. So that means that tar is outside of the borders of Gary Development Landfill.
It
And
also
actually,
means that the tar isn't being blown by the wind. It's just there.
and also, we noticed that there was some signs of habitation back there. Or not habitation, but there was signs of life having disturbed the area back there. Which means that this area is actually really improperly sealed off because
As you can see here, there's tire tracks, there's even a container here. This area is frequented probably by locals.
And as we can see, the Indiana Toll Road runs right next to the site, along with a freight railroad, which is extremely concerning. Up there is Interstate 90, the Indiana Toll Road, and right here is a Canadian National Railway that travels right through here. And we can see that this perimeter fence was put up to keep people out, but as we can see, someone has gone through it, which shows that for an area that was declared a Superfund site by the Environmental Protection Agency, it is not being properly cared for, and someone could get through this easily. Now, right now, we are on a border area, which, as we showed earlier, showed in earlier videos, already sees the detrimental effects of having this landfill right here. Now, if we can get through if the landfill is this easy to access, we can see that something needs to be done. The EPA is not helping with anything that needs to be done, and we can see that nothing has been done since 2002. So if we're not doing anything and we're allowing people to get in this easily, along with letting commuters go right over where the landfill is, we can see that this is extremely problematic. Now, what the EPA needs to do in the city of Gary, because the land that sits behind this is privately owned, the EPA needs to use its ability to effectively make sure areas like this are closed off and take the land that it needs. And finally, when looking at what the EPA needs to do, and the city of Gary, if the city of Gary wants to make money, they should be closing this off, letting the EPA clean it up, and selling the methane gas. As we saw over there, there is gas that's trapped underneath the soil here. And this is what the solution needs to be. Grants are available from the EPA to make sure that this happens. The city of Gary just needs to finally go through with their plan and fix what's happening here. It should not be this easy to get into a Superfund site.
the point of the matter is, this is part of the filtration process used to collect the methane that is gathering due to the decomposing garbage that is under the hill that we are currently standing on
Where's the hill?
at Centennial Park. Munster, Indiana.
Alright, so here we are still at Munster Centennial Park, and we can see behind us their process for changing methane gas into energy that the town sells. And this is something that the EPA has recommended for many landfill sites across the country, and in fact they have grant programs for this. Now, if the city of Gary wants to help clean up their act while still making money, this is the answer that they should choose. Because the reason Gary wants to reopen the landfill is to make money. Now, if they let the EPA do their job, they will be able to get this grant money that will allow them to open up a facility such as this, which can power hundreds of homes and has helped the town of Munster clean up the area around Centennial Park immensely. Because it no longer smells like methane, and we can see that they burn off the residual methane.